I don't really know what to make a point out of because I'm not a news outlet, so I don't like verbatim telling you exactly what happened. Yes, Mac Miller had an overdose and he passed away at the age of 26, and I'm taking it in an awkward way only because I feel like, and again, this is just me giving my thoughts on it. I feel like there's no reason we should still be losing artists, musicians to drug abuse in 2018. And I only say that because of how much access we have to so many different outlets and information. I'm not saying that this is Mac Miller's fault for feeling as if he had to internalize whatever issues that he had, but I feel like in the era of like Me Too, Black Lives Matter, suicide prevention, I feel like we should no longer be losing artists, rappers specifically, because it seems to be happening more within the hip hop landscape. We shouldn't be losing artists to things that I feel, and again, this is my opinion, my perspective, I feel can be prevented. Lost Lil Peep earlier this year to drug abuse. Now, of course, his was due to him anticipating a certain dosage or a certain amount, and that wasn't what was given, and he passed away based off of miscommunication. Um, I guess my point here is that we don't see artists dying, or I won't say artists, we don't see people dying this young in other fields. Like, I can't really recall 4 or 5 actors and actresses dying under the age of 30. I can't really recall, just in one year specifically, 4 to 5, athletes under the age of 30 passing away to drug abuse, passing away to shootings. It seems like when it's music, it's either shooting, suicide, or drugs. One of those three. And it seems to be a reoccurring theme. And I don't know if it's because of the fan base. Like, I'm not trying to say fans blame yourselves, but I've seen a lot of people echoing the sentiment of, "Oh, I used to listen to Mac Miller a lot when I was coming up. Oh, I used to hear Mac Miller's music a lot. I used to enjoy, Good AM. I used to enjoy Good Morning. I used to enjoy his previous records." I'm not in the business of, or not in the ideology of making artists tragedy. I'm not in the business of trying to personalize that, and I guess make it about me, make it about what this artist did for me, which is why I guess I view their death now as a tragedy. I don't want to make it seem like Mac Miller, if the only reason his death is a tragedy is because he made enjoyable music, because I didn't know this individual as a person, and I think that's probably why um, music is just so, that's why I feel music should be authentic and genuine, because you have artists dying and passing away, and these people that are extreme fans of them never knowing who they truly are, never knowing what they're really going through. And so when they pass, it comes as a shock. We just got an album, Swimming, from Mac Miller, where he's talking about coming out of negative feelings, coming out of a negative thought process, and still rapping and talking about his abuse of things like alcohol. So to see this happen, it is a little shocking when we felt like, or at least me personally, felt like he was doing better, at least mentally. He knew where he wanted to go. Is this realistic? Yes. Is it still shocking? Yes. Um, I just feel like it happens far too often in music. And I don't know if it's because we are getting a different persona, or we're getting different information presented in music than is actual than what is actually being represented in everyday life. Um, I just feel it's odd. This is the only this is the only business, music is the only lane, like business wise, where we lose so many people so young. I feel. I just feel like it shouldn't happen to people who want to express themselves artistically. I feel like it shouldn't happen. I think people who are artists have this really, it's a strange complex that they have going on. It's a strange thing they have to deal with. When people on the outside of your art, on the outside of your creation or whatever it is that you're trying to think of and hear, because artists are constantly thinking, or there's something always on an artist's mind, at least in my opinion. When you're creating any kind of content, there's something that's always on your mind, always present with you. And those thoughts don't always have to be good. And so when you're always thinking and there's something that you aren't expressing, and in the outlet that you use to express yourself the most, you may not be able to be your most authentic in, where else do you have to go? It's hard. It's really difficult. I know the music industry doesn't care. They're there to, sap up the art that you represent, the art that you create, and then they're there to let you go when you're no longer providing that traction for whatever label you're signed to, or you're not making the music for whatever fan originally enjoyed your material. Fans aren't innocent of that. You start making music they don't like, they're out. You stop making money for the label, they're out. You don't know who. I just, it's just hard to be an artist. I could imagine it's very difficult, I would assume. So I just feel like music is a very toxic business. It's a beautiful thing, but it's a toxic business to me. And there's nothing to really help these people at the moment. I don't feel like there's anything, no one's providing any source of any outlet for their mental state, their mental well-being. You're not using drugs if you're safe mentally. I know you're not. You're not addicted to anything if you're safe mentally. If you're doing well mentally, you don't have the need for the abuse of drugs. So who's to take care of their mental state? I don't know. It is a problem, but like back to back to back to back, if it's not gun violence, it's suicide. If it's not suicide, then it's drugs. Not seeing 30, not seeing 25, not is way too young to go. It's still way too young to go. No one who's mentally stable up here or sensible should be blaming Ariana Grande for what she was or wasn't able to do. These are personal issues that people have to deal with. Everyone has to deal with, and you're gonna come at that crossroad no matter who you're in a relationship with. So your partner or your then partner should not be the one blamed for any inadequacies that you might face when you're dealing with these mental imbalances and these these areas of your brain, these moments of depression where you can't really you don't really know what outlet to use. But I don't need to be the one to tell you that, drug abuse is bad. You already know that if you're tuning into this. If you're subscribed to me, I assume that you know that. But I think just they need something, because apparently it's not working. Something isn't working. I don't know what it is, but something is not working. Something is not being utilized for the betterment of a musician. Them specifically, I feel. It's just, I don't feel it's happening as often in any other business than with music. That's my thought process on it. Mac Miller, I'm not going to sit up here and say how much of a fan of your music I was, because it really has nothing to do with that. That's what you use to express yourself, and that's the only avenue I had to you. So I don't even know if I ever knew Mac Miller. I can't say I ever knew Mac Miller or had an inclination as to who he may be. But if you're anything like what you presented yourself to be in your music, seem like a likable human being with his problems. So rest in peace. I hope other artists can, look at your situation, and I hope that we can learn, maybe there's some signs that we can see ahead of time. I don't know. But that's just my take on it. That's where I stand. Um, Hopefully something changes in the future and we have an outlet for artists, musicians specifically, where they can go or they can speak or reach out or express themselves. Because music isn't enough, apparently. Music is not enough for an artist, a true artist, to express themselves anymore, apparently. So you need something else. Anyone, but especially musicians, it seems like. Um, Hope y'all are having a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.